Hello everyone, Alistair Gold here. It's been quite a busy day. Amid a month that has actually been quite quiet in certain respects, certainly the transfer window thus far, pretty much across the board, not even just at Spurs really. At least today, the Premier League fixtures were released. Honestly, I love this day. I do love this day. I know it sounds like a weird day to really enjoy, but I think June for me is often a month when it's like, I kind of start to feel like I really want proper football to come back. You know, the Euros have been quite fun. Some of the games, really enjoyed watching Radu Dragićin yesterday for Romania, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But on the whole, I'm at that period where I've kind of had that little bit of time where I'm like, I hate football, I want to rest, I'm knackered, to feeling like, when does the season start again? I really want to go and watch football matches. Something that is less welcome, far less welcome, and I've got to touch on it, is Rodrigo Bentancur and his utterly stupid comment he made in an interview back in Uruguay. I'm going to read you out the words rather than trying to paraphrase. I got an excellent South American reporter to translate it for me, who I know and trust and speaks absolutely perfect English, better than my English. So this is a little transcript. It's only like 11 seconds of this interview, but this is how it works. So the reporter says, "Can you get me the shirt from the Korean?" To which Bentancur says, "Sonny." The reporter says, "Or any other champion?" To which Bentancur says, "Or any cousin of Sonny. They all look more or less the same." To which the reporter says, "Yes, of course." It's just an utterly stupid thing to say. I'm sure there was no malice or intent to cause any kind of offence, but those words, as they are, do take the form of a racist sentence. They do. The words together are a racist sentence. And I'm not saying that Bentancur is a racist, but those words together do form a sentence that is like that. That is a racist sentence. It is suggesting that, in his words, Koreans all look more or less the same. And look, just saying that anyone of any nationality or race all look the same, it's doing that. There's no getting away from it. I made my feelings very clear about it all on social media, and I got so many excuses chucked back at me. It was only a joke. That was one. Yes, that clearly was the intention, but it's a terrible, awful joke. I got told that people nowadays are all snowflakes and they're woke. I got told that that's just the way people talk in Uruguay. It's absolutely fine. It's a cultural thing. I got told that English people are hypocrites, that how dare they mention anything that might be construed as racist because of everything that happened in England's countries past with, with the empire and all the things that happened in that. I don't get that logic whatsoever. That's almost to say, like, no American person can point out any racism because their country has had some quite, obviously public instances of racism and things like that. And like every country has, it's just a terrible way of looking at it. Oh yeah, something happened way in the past, or even is still happening in a country, but that means you can't call out something as wrong. That's a terrible way of looking at it. It really is. I've even had some people saying, as I guess I'm doing now, that by even commenting on it or mentioning it, I'm drawing attention to it. I'm sorry, but that's daft as well. Bentancur put out an apology for doing it to 1.8 million followers on social media. I was hardly spreading it. I don't have that kind of reach whatsoever. And I just don't understand, why would you hide something like that? Why would you not discuss something about that? Why something like that needs, I think, to be discussed, because it just keeps happening in the world and it's so rubbish. I should read out. I've mentioned his apology. I should read it out. So as it started to kind of gain traction on social media, and a lot of kind of, I think, Korean people noticed it as well. There was an apology that went out. It's an Instagram story, so technically a temporary 24-hour apology that said, "Sonny brother," technically spelt Sony, but that doesn't really matter. "Sonny brother, I apologise to you for what happened. It was just a very bad joke. You know what? I love you, and I would never disrespect you or hurt you or anyone else. I love you, brother." So I guess if you're going to take one positive, there was that he apologised reasonably quickly. That's something. That shouldn't be dismissed. That was something. That's acknowledging that it was not right. That's something. And look, I get that there's a tribal nature to this as well in terms of Tottenham fans wanting to be protective of one of their players, and I guess I think of Uruguayan people as well wading into it. I had quite a few. I presumed they had Uruguayan flags in their bio, so I'm guessing they were from Uruguay. And I can understand this protective nature and gathering around someone, but you can't sweep something like that under the carpet. Look, I love Bentancur as a player. He's a fantastic player, and I'm so excited about kind of how he will be under Postecoglou when he is fully sharp and fit and everything. But it does not, that's a separate thing. That doesn't stop me seeing something as an utterly stupid thing to say. That, look, we would never see that said in an interview over here, any kind of Premier League interview. And there's a reason for that, because it's wrong. It is. And, you know, just trying to kind of fob it off as, oh, it was just a joke, is just diminishing the effect it can have on other people. There's this, you know, I know a lot of Korean people, and some of them I count as friends as well, who were offended by the comment. And ultimately that's where it lies, I guess, is that you can come up with as many excuses as you like, I suppose, but it always feels like the people that are quickest to say that something isn't offensive are the ones who wouldn't be offended by it. It's always like, I'm telling you what is right and wrong. And it's like, well, no, it doesn't really work like that. I guess in a way, I suppose I'm telling people what is right and wrong as well, in my opinion. But as I said, speaking to the people that have been affected by that, there are people that are upset and they are outraged by it. And yeah, I don't like it at all. I do. I feel like the apology itself also missed a major thing in that it was only an apology to Sonny. You know, technically he's insulting Korean people in general with that as well. It should have been a wider apology. Yeah, and look, this might be controversial, but I actually don't think enough was made of it, or enough people spoke about it. And look, I'm not trying to muck spread and saying everyone come on, but all I'm trying to say is, and again, this might be a bit controversial, but perhaps, and this is something that some Korean people said to me, and I couldn't really disagree with it, that had it been a comment about maybe someone who's another nationality or race, perhaps a lot more people would have weighed in than, you know, I guess just a few. And I can't really disagree with that. I don't know why that is, and why that is the case, that something kind of aimed at Korean people would get less of people kind of coming in and saying that's wrong. But look, you know, I'm sure Bentancur and Sonny will be absolutely fine. They've always seemed very close just from the outside, kind of looking in. The club have told me they're dealing with it internally, as is always the way with these things. I think there will be a problem that comes later next month, and of course that is because Spurs visit South Korea. And whether Bentancur is there or not, it will be an issue, I think, because Bentancur will very much, his attendance will be dependent on how far Uruguay get in the Copa America. But Sonny will be there. Sonny is the figurehead of Tottenham as its captain, and he is a hero to just so many Korean people, and so many people across Asia, and so many people outside Asia as well. So he is going to get asked about it. I'm not saying it will be me, but Korean journalists will want to know, because it was a moment, like I said, that offended a lot of people. And just because you can't see that because you're not in Korea doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And that's, sorry, you can see it frustrates me. I just don't understand how this all still happens. This kind of feeling like, oh, but that's a culture over there, or that's this and that and that. But it doesn't matter if you're a public speaking figure and you're talking about someone. It still is airing a view that is just so unnecessary and wrong. But yeah, and also it comes in a month, in the same month when a Nottingham Forest fan was banned for 3 years for racist abuse towards Sonny at the City Ground back in December. The same fan also was shouting anti-Semitic abuse at Spurs fans as well. And it just kind of feels like, does he really need to have to deal with questions about daft things said from his own teammates, whether it was a joke or not? So, yeah. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say on it. And look, I know I'm going to get comments in this. I'm going to get comments from people saying that I've made too much of it. But I just don't agree. And I will never agree. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that offends you, I guess. I'm not doing a temporary Instagram story apology for it.